So today we will check a data for thermodynamic consistency, and we will learn how to check a thermodynamic consistency of a experimental vapor liquid equilibrium data. The criteria will be the Gibbs-Duhem equation. So that we will see how can we look at the scatteredness of the data. So now here you can look at the equation 1, that when the G over x1 into x1 of component 1 approaching 0, this can be written like this. So in a differential form, by applying L'Hopital's rules, because if x1 is 0 here, then it becomes something divided by 0. Means here you can look at this one. So so something divided by 0 means this goes to infinity. So L'Hopital's rules can be applied, and you get a differential of this. So this G over x1 x2 RT is equal to G over RT upon x1y, because x1 goes to 0. Then are you able to see this clearly, these expressions?
Yes, sir.
So when x1 goes to 0, then x2 must go to 1. So this limit is to be first calculated, because the data points you can put, but you cannot draw a line, you cannot draw a curve unless you know what will be the limiting value. So this is a calculation of limiting value. So G over x1 x2 RT when x1 approaches to 0, you can look at this diagram. x1 approaches to 0. So what should be the value of G, and why should we fit a straight line in this data? That is the question. So G over x1 x2 RT is a linear function of x. So how we can prove that? Then only we can see. Otherwise we will have these data points. When we have experimental data, we have only data points. So we are not sure what should be the shape of the connecting curve. Okay, so that is given by this mathematical analysis. So the limiting value, so this is your G over x1 x2 RT. So this limiting value is to be determined, and this limiting value, everywhere the limiting values are to be determined, because in between we have the data. So for 0 concentration we don't know the values, so that analysis can help in that task. So here this is find G over RT over x1, because x2 you just put here 1. Why? Because x1 goes to 0, x2 should be 1. So this is there. And when you look at this becomes infinity. So L'Hopital's rules can be applied, and you know that it becomes a differential of this. So there you just make a differential of this. So dG over RT dx1. So this differential is written here. Now this becomes, see, this differential is equal to now you can differentiate with respect to x1 this equation. So dG over RT dx1. So this was already given G over RT. So look at this, G over RT is given this. So if you make a differential of this, 13.54 has to be differentiated with respect to x1. So you differentiate it, what do you get? You get this one. See, this is a differential. So this you get x1 d ln gamma 1 dx1 plus ln gamma 1 plus x2 and this one. So this says that why it is coming to be the negative sign here, and dx2 over dx1 has been taken as -1, because x1 plus x2 is 1. So you can differentiate dx1 plus dx2 equal to 1. So dx2 equal to, okay, dx2 over dx1 becomes equal to -1. Minus sign preceding this last term. Why it is like that? So you can look at this. So x2 equal to means x1 equal to 1 minus x2, or x2 equal to 1 minus x1. So when you differentiate with respect to x1, this becomes 1, and this is dx2 over dx1 equal to 0. So dx2 over dx1 becomes equal to -1. So you get this one. Now in this Gibbs-Duhem equation, you can divide the Gibbs-Duhem equation, which was written in equation 13.11 for a binary system, is now divided by dx1. So sigma xi dmi should be equal to 0 at constant temperature. So if you divide it by dx1, so it becomes x1 d ln gamma 1 dx1, because this is the partial molar property ln gamma. So do you understand this equation 13.555? dx1 यहाँ डिवीजन में ले लिया गया दोनों तरफ. This is a Gibbs-Duhem equation only. So it is obvious. So you have written Gibbs-Duhem now, but it is here for constant temperature and pressure. Now usually Gibbs-Duhem equation is written for constant temperature. No, but here it has been written for constant temperature and pressure, because this we have derived for constant temperature and pressure. So any variation in pressure is not affecting this activity coefficient value much. So this is true. So 1 minute. So this is fine. Now this can be substituted now. So now in substitution into equation B, this it gets reduced to this kind of expression. So Gibbs equation B is here. So you can substitute this x1 and d gamma and this one. This becomes equal to 0. So dg over rt dx1 becomes equal to ln gamma 1 over gamma 2. You just carry out these expressions in your notebook. Take your time. I give you 1 minute. So just obtain this expression 13.56. dg over rt over dx1 is equal to log of ratio of log of gamma 1 to gamma 2. Are you doing it? Abha Singh, you want to say something?
मेरा नाम लेता है, मैं कर रही नहीं, और मैं दूसरा चैप्टर कर रही हूँ, ये पूछे तो मुझे रिमूव कर देता है.
Hello, Abha Singh, want to say something? Abha Singh? Hello, Abha Singh? Aman Kumar?
Yes.
आभा सिंह बताइए क्या कहना चाहती हैं? अमन कुमार?
यस सर.
आभा सिंह? आभा सिंह, मैं आपको रिमूव कर रहा हूं, आप रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहे. राशि जैन?
यस सर.
विनय मौर्य?
यस सर.
So Vinay Singh Yadav is fallen ill. Okay, so he has sent me the information. No problem. So take your time and just conclude that you achieve this expression. 13.56. Is that fine? So change of the excess Gibbs energy over RT with respect to composition is given by ln gamma 1 over gamma 2. Now you can put a limiting case if you means you want to calculate this value at the limiting case. So x1 goes to 0. Now this gives you limit x1 goes to ln gamma 1 over gamma 2, and this is defined as ln gamma 1 infinity. So ln gamma 1 infinity means the value of ln gamma 1 at the mole fraction x1 0, means almost infinite dilution, means this is called infinite dilution. Okay, similarly you can define this value ln gamma 2. So G over RT x1 over x2 RT ln gamma 1. Okay, this goes to ln x1 goes to 1. So means x2 goes to 0, means if you look at x2, then it is something going to 0. So this is again at infinite dilution. So this you should be able to get. Any difficulty, please tell me in writing these expressions. So the limiting values of G over x1 R2 x1 x2 RT have been calculated. These will be called limiting values, will be called ln gamma 1 infinity and ln gamma 2 infinity. So when this is x1 goes to 0 and this x1 goes to 1, both limiting values have been means given a name, the log of activity coefficient at infinite dilution. Now you can say that the equation 13.11, which was written earlier, means for Gibbs-Dihem equation, it is valid for constant temperature and pressure. Although the data in tables, last time you had this table where the it was for constant temperature, but the variation of pressure was there. So you can say that if the variation of pressure is there, then there, because liquid phase activity coefficients are very nearly independent of pressure. So this is a valid expression. Okay, Gibbs-Dihem equation will be followed for variation of pressure also. Now equation 13.11 has been further influence on nature. This is जो फिगर में आपको दिखाया गया है कि आप इसको ln gamma 1 को अगर डिफरेंशिएट करें, then you can get this one. So ln gamma 1 dx1 can be written as x2 d ln gamma 2 over x1. 13.11 इक्वेशन को आप देख करके आप लिखिए तो ये लिखा जा सकता है. यहां से भी आप देख सकते हैं. So ये कहता है कि it requires the slope of ln gamma 1 curve to be everywhere of the opposite sign to the slope of the ln gamma 2 curve. So these slopes are just opposite. d ln gamma 1 over dx1. This is a slope of gamma ln gamma 1 with respect to x1. And similarly, you can check d ln gamma 2 over dx1. So both will be, so see this one. If you write d ln gamma, I mean d ln gamma 2 over dx1, so it will be of opposite sign. Okay, so here the slope of ln gamma 1 curve to be everywhere opposite sign to the slope of ln gamma 2 curve. So you can check with this, see this ln. So when your slope of ln gamma 1 is like this, it is just going opposite, means it is of opposite slope ln gamma 2. See this. So when it is going like this curvature, it is going like this. So slope, the shape, you can look at the shape of the ln gamma 1 and ln gamma 2. So it is mathematically, it is analyzing the behavior of these curves. So this graph you can plot easily. And these are the limiting values. X2 goes to 0 or x1 goes to the slope of ln gamma should be 0. Similarly, when x1 goes to 0, slope of ln gamma 2 is 0. Okay. So now we can reduce this data and carry out further analysis. G over x1 RT most closely conform to a simple mathematical relation. So G over x1 over RT can be written as something like A21 x1 plus means. So when you write a simple expression in terms of means as a function of composition, it can be written like this, a linear relation kind of thing. Okay, suppose this is given to you, means you take it granted, means this relationship is given to you. And these interaction parameters are also calculated for methyl ethyl ketone. And using this Margulies equations and previous analysis, suppose these are known to you. So you can write this G over RT like this. So here the Margulies equation have been used. Okay, so you can look at the Margulies expressions for the activity coefficient and put these values here. So this is a Margulies equation given by 13.39. Corresponding expression for the activity coefficients have been used. Okay, so just carry out this exercise and you will get this one, G over RT like this. So this is nothing but your modified Raoult's law for component 1. This is modified Raoult's law for component 2. So you write this total pressure, equilibrium pressure like this. Is that fine? 13.57. So in terms of modified Raoult's law, you can write this one. And Y1 can be calculated. Okay, so you're looking at this, you can calculate, you know the equilibrium pressure, and then you can calculate the vapor phase mole fractions. So gamma 1 and gamma 2 have been calculated with this methyl ethyl ketone and toluene system. Experimental values are already given, and that analysis was done in the last class. You can just look at this, means how can you calculate. So I did these all calculations in last class. Similarly, there is another system taken in consideration, chloroform and 1,4-dioxane system. So this is another example. Okay, so similar analysis you can be carried out for this system also, and using the Margulies equations, these interaction parameters A12 and A21 can be written, and this is the table which has been made. Okay, so in a similar fashion, this also, why it is being there means there are certain different nature of this system. So here this PXY and P diagram are different. This is a liquid phase diagram, bubble point diagram. This is your dew point diagram. So these diagrams are this time different, and this is your so if you have x1 equal to 0, this is your P2 set, and this is your P1 set. and you join these two vapor pressure with a straight line, then this line is visible. Okay, so it is a deviation from this linearity. So of course, because the two components are being mixed, so these curves will appear. So on the basis of this data, I mean, suppose this data is given to you and you are required to plot all these things. So this time you can look at this. Means this data, if you plot, you will obtain such kind of shape of the graphs. So these means data points you have to calculate, and then you have to join these curves. So this is a way of plotting various excess Gibbs energy data from a vapor liquid equilibrium data. So this analysis is required in analysis of a system for its vapor liquid equilibrium. Now we look at the thermodynamic consistency now. So it says that the Gibbs-Duhem equation means any data, if it is given, so how much it is deviating from the ideality or Gibbs-Duhem expression. So whether this data is consistent or not, that can be checked. So Gibbs-Duhem equation imposes a constraint on activity coefficient. What is that? Sigma mi dmi bar should be equal to 0. You know this Gibbs-Duhem equation? So sigma xi here, what is the mi bar? That is ln gamma. So sigma means x1 ln gamma 1 plus x2 ln gamma 2 should be equal to 0 for constant temperature. So this imposes a constant on activity coefficient that may not be satisfied by a set of experimental values derived from pxy data. So your pxy data may deviate from this constraint. So the experimental values of ln gamma 1 and ln gamma 2 combined by equation, this equation has been given to you to give values of G over RT. So these ln gamma 1 and ln gamma 2 are means combined by this equation, and they give the values of G over RT. Now this addition process is independent of Gibbs-Duhem equation. You know. So this, look at this G over RT expression again. So this is your G over RT expression. These are the additions. So this G over RT, you from the experimental values of gamma 1 and gamma 2 can be calculated. So x1 you know, ln gamma 1 you know, x2 you know, ln gamma 2. So this you can carry out experimentally, and G over RT can be calculated. But this G over RT has to be means follow a Gibbs-Duhem equation also. So because this is a total property of the solution. So this is experimental value means. So here the Gibbs-Duhem equation has been written, means you can calculate it and put it there. But the it says that this sigma of this should be equal, means d sigma mi dmi bar, means if you put means you write x1 d ln gamma 1 plus x2 d ln gamma 2 should be equal to 0. So that you don't know whether it will be correct or not. So simply you can calculate by the experiment. So it is now to be tested whether this our data is thermodynamically consistent or not. Now it says that, so I'm coming to that point again. It says that the experimental values of ln gamma 1 and gamma 2 can be combined to Gibbs G over RT. This addition process is independent of Gibbs-Duhem equation. On the other hand, the Gibbs-Duhem equation is implicit. That should be followed by theory. And activity coefficient derived from this equation necessarily obey the Gibbs-Duhem equation. Okay, so that is from theory. But in experimental way also you can calculate the values. So these derived activity coefficient cannot possibly be consistent with the experimental values unless the experimental values also satisfy the Gibbs-Duhem equation. Okay, this you should understand. Gibbs-DM equation has to be followed by the experimental data. Similarly, the PXY1 correlation calculated by the above equations should be consistent with such experimental values. If the experimental data are consistent with Gibbs-DM equation, they are necessarily incorrect. If they are not consistent, if they are inconsistent with the Gibbs-DM, so they are necessarily incorrect as the result of systematic error in the data. Okay, so there is experimental error in measurement because you are measuring those properties. So with the theory, it may not match. So because the correlation equations of G over RT impose consistency on derived activity coefficient, no correlation exists that can precisely reproduce PXY data that are inconsistent. Means there is a binding on G over RT on derived activity coefficient. So there is no correlation possible that can precisely reproduce. Means, I mean, there is no a theoretical expression from which PXY1 data can be means from the experimental data it can be reproduced. So because this is only experimental data, so from theory you cannot do reverse calculation if your data is not consistent. Now here we try to develop the simplest test of consistency with respect to Gibbs-DM equation. Means you are given with the PX1 Y1 data. Okay, so I'm just reading it for you so that when you go through, you understand the text. Now, our purpose is here to develop a simple test for consistency with respect to Gibbs-DM equation. So this is given to you, and you apply the Gibbs-DM criteria for this one. So suppose you have some experimental values and you calculate this activity coefficient from your experiment. So G over RT star, which is due to the experiment, it will be written as, so star means they have given a sign that whatever values will be calculated from the experiment, we will give it star sign. So x1 ln gamma 1 plus x2 ln gamma 2. So these activity coefficient which have been calculated by the experiment. So this has to be followed. And this is a summability rule. This is not Gibbs-DM equation. This is a summation rule. Okay, any total property is equal to sigma xi mi bar, means partial molar property. So that is here. Now if you differentiate it with respect to dx1, so you can get this one, x1. So like earlier we did it. So this can be written like this. So because this also, so you make it here ln. So last time we have seen that, so you can reduce this one. So ln gamma 1 over gamma 2 can be written here. See this one, ln gamma 1 minus ln gamma 2. So it is ln gamma star over ln gamma 2 star. Okay, and this is written here, and this is it. So you do it yourself in your notebook. You just differentiate it and get it. So this is a change of many experimental Gibbs energy change with respect to composition. Okay, any difficulty in understanding these equations? No, should not be. Means earlier also we have done it. Now this equation is subtracted from the derived property values for derived property value. Okay, so suppose you subtract it from your dg over rt dx1 minus, so these experimental values if you subtract, so you can get this one, means expressions like this. So Margulis equations have been used. Margulis equation, you can refer to what kind of expression is possible for Margulis equation. Should I show you the Margulis equation now, right now, for the activity coefficient? So that is your activity coefficient models. When we discussed these are the equations: Loken composition models, this one, this Van Laar model. These are the margins. Okay, so so activity coefficient is given as a function of composition in this way, where this A21 and A12 are defined here like this. Okay, so this you have calculated already with the experiment, and you substitute it here, and you get the Margulis equation relating composition to the activity coefficient. Okay, these are the only one type of example, means there could be another correlations for the activity coefficient like Van Laar equation. Okay, so simplest is one your Margulis equation. So here in Van Laar equation, this is the expression, and here your your A-12 and A-21 are already defined. So these are the various models, means they fit to a particular type of system. Sometime Van Laar is okay, sometime Wilson is okay, sometime Margulis is okay for a given system. So we can use only one simple one, whatever is possible for us. Okay, so experimental data has been fitted, and this curve can be obtained as is shown to you. Now we are checking for the thermodynamic consistency. So let me come back to our discussion. So this, if you subtract, so you can write like this. Now difference between like terms are residuals. So here if you you have a difference, so ln gamma 1 over gamma 2 minus, this is a residual kind of things. So you know that any property minus the ideal property is residual one. So here if you check a difference, so this can be also given a name residual, which may be represented by a delta notation. So it is a delta notation. So here delta ln gamma 1 over gamma 2. So this whole has been written as a delta. Okay, so this is delta of what? Ln gamma 1 over gamma 2. So this delta means difference. And here, as such, you can write this expression here. And this difference can be written again by delta. So this is a d of delta g over RT dx1. Okay, so this is a way of representation. Now, if a data set is reduced so as to make the residual scatter about 0, so this difference must be 0 for the consistency. But in experiment, you will find some values. It will not be 0. This residual will not be 0. Means this also will not be 0, and this also will not be 0. So here it says that residual in G over RT scatter about 0. Then the derivatives, these derivatives are effectively 0, reducing the preceding equation. So if this is 0 here, so this becomes like this. So G over RT means residual of this G over RT has been put to 0. So you can get this one. So delta ln gamma 1 over gamma 2 equal to x1 d ln gamma 1 star over dx1 plus x2 d ln gamma 2 star over dx1. So this expression is important to check the thermodynamic consistency and the scatter about 0. 13.59, you can mark it. So delta represents the residual, means ln gamma 1 over gamma 2 minus ln gamma 1 star over ln gamma 2 star. Now here this right hand side of this equation exactly the quantity that equation 13 Gibbs-Duhem equation requires. Means see this sigma xi d ln gamma d mi bar. It is written same way. See x1 d ln the property, and then x2 d ln this property. So this is Gibbs-Duhem equation. So it requires to be 0. Means it requires to be 0 for consistent data. Means this value, if you calculate from the experiment, this value, this summation, means right hand side, can be calculated for the experiment, and this should be 0 because it is a Gibbs-Duhem expression. The residual on the left therefore provides a direct measure of derivation from the Gibbs-Duhem equation. So if means this kind of means means if you calculate this residual, so this is simply a Gibbs-Duhem equation. The extent to which a data set departs from consistency is measured by degree to which these residual fail to scatter about 0. Now these values means for different points you can calculate these values and see whether they are 0 or not. Okay, so this has been done here. You can look at this scattering of this data about 0. Okay, so this excess Gibbs energy scattering, and this is your ratio of this. So this you can get. So this is a consistency test for given last example. Okay, so here one example is given. You can go through and you can solve this one. (13.4). All of you should try 13.4. Last time I suggested you to check this data for thermodynamic consistency. Means you just calculate these values. 13.5 right hand side values you calculate from the experiment and see whether this is a 0 or not, or if it is not 0 you just plot like given in the graph. Okay, so this you can carry out. So this becomes a check for thermodynamic consistency. Means you can look at the situation, means how much your data is deviating. If it is deviating large value, it is not consistent. So this should be, means your data, if it is near to this line, then it is a good data. Otherwise this, so there must be some criteria of rejecting or accepting the data that you can go through this text. Okay, so I am stopping here, and this way we have completed this chapter also. So next time we will start the our next chapter, which is our chemical reaction equilibrium. Okay, so rest of the topics you can skip. Up to this thermodynamic consistency only I will cover. Now next chapter is about chemical reaction equilibrium. So we will begin this chapter 14 in the next class, and you can carry out simple calculations, practice your numerical problems meanwhile. So chemical reaction equilibrium, we will write the fundamental expression for Gibbs energy again, and before that we have to understand what do we mean by a reaction coordinate or progress of a reaction. So slightly you have to revise your earlier learning. Means if you write a certain chemical reactions and if it is a balanced chemical reaction, so what do you mean by stoichiometric coefficient, stoichiometric number, reaction coordinate, progress of reaction, like this. Okay, so I will stop here.